Hi, welcome to my presentation on play therapy for World Mental Health Day. My name is Feleicia McField, and I am a registered play therapist and clinical mental health counselor at the Wellness Center. Today we're going to talk about play therapy, specifically the functions of play, developmental domains of play in the therapeutic process, play of adjusted and maladjusted children, types of play therapy, tenets for relating to children, what children learn in play therapy, and how parents can be partners in the play therapy process. What is play therapy? Well, play refers to imaginative and creative engagement in an activity that is free from externally imposed rules. It can be self-directed, guided, or used as a teaching tool. Play helps children give their imaginations free rein. They learn the understandings of their culture and how to develop skills. The developmental domains of play are 5, such as social, physical, cognitive, communication, and emotional. Social refers to the ability to form attachments, play with others, cooperation, sharing, and being able to create lasting friendships and relationships. Physical refers to development of fine and gross motor skills, coordination, and balance. Cognitive refers to the process of making sense of the world around them, problem solving, and the ability to generate ideas. Communication refers to the process of obtaining skills, verbal and nonverbal ways to communicate their thoughts, needs, wants, and ideas with the world. Emotional development refers to development of self-awareness, self-confidence, and management of their feelings or emotional regulation. Social development through play is when a child develops the ability to attend or look to others as a source of knowledge. A lot of this is copying behaviors. Children play as a means of copying or learning how to practice certain behaviors. Children learn to follow social rules like turn-taking, waiting, and compromising. When children get older, they're able to apply these critical thinking such as teamwork and cooperation skills that they learn through play to other areas of their life. Physical development through play, such an example is babies grabbing their toes and learning about their body and that physical awareness, and also eye and hand coordination. Additionally, play can help with coordination and direction of children learning their bodies as they get older, such as running, hopping, skipping, and jumping. They also learn how their environment around them reacts to them. Physical play also helps develop and tone muscles and learn how to balance. You can't run before you walk. Throwing and catching is also another way of learning how to develop and continue to develop their gross and fine motor skills and hand and eye coordination. Physical activities also help increase their confidence. Emotional development through play has play where it provides a lot of opportunities for emotional development. An example is that children experience joy, pleasure, frustration, and anger, possibly from a simple game of hide and seek. They also learn how to be nurturing and loving through pretend play with dolls, but also through behavioral play or observations when they see someone else being loving and caring towards them or others. When trying to build a tower of blocks, a child learns to persevere and overcome frustration and to believe in themselves, as oftentimes many of those blocks do fall. Through social games such as tag, children learn how to cooperate, follow rules, and deal with conflict. Cognitive development through play. They learn how to explore and investigate their environments. They're learning how to learn. They learn how to find solutions to their problems and also how to find shortcuts as well. Play teaches children the concept of cause and effect, understanding the impacts of their world and how the world reacts to them. Communication development through play. Development of communication skills is critical to increasing one's quality and experience in life. Babies learn how to communicate instinctively through crying to get their needs met. And as we get older, we learn other ways to communicate to get our needs met, some more helpful than others. Play provides excellent opportunities to learn how to communicate and to practice that in a safe environment. As children grow, they develop more complex and effective means to verbally and non-verbally communicate their needs, wants, desires, and ideas. Play therapy. Play therapy is defined as a dynamic interpersonal relationship between a child or a person of any age and a therapist trained in play therapy procedures who provides selected materials and facilitates the development of a safe relationship for the child or a person of any age to fully express and explore themselves, their thoughts, feelings, and experiences and behaviors through play. Play is a child's natural medium of communication for optimum growth and development. That was a mouthful. Play is very helpful for children to learn how to interact. Play provides them with a place to practice a lot of the things that they've learned throughout the day in a safe way, and usually at their own pace. Toys are words for children, and play is their language. The goal in play therapy is not to get the child to talk, but rather to be with the child and allow them to express themselves in the way they choose. In the presence of a caring and empathic adult, a child can share their inner feelings through play. If you listen and watch closely enough, they usually tell you a story. Symbolic language of self-expression in play allows children to express their experiences, their thoughts, their ideas, to see their reactions to their experiences, to experience their feelings about certain things that they experience, to express their wants and needs and wishes, and to also express how they view themselves. The difference between adjusted and maladjusted children lies not primarily in the negative attitude they demonstrate, but rather the quality and intensity of such attitudes. It's not what you do, but it's how you do it. Play of adjusted children typically goes with a child is more conversational in session. They usually have questions they want to ask you or they express things themselves, not really waiting for you to start the conversation. They also examine the playroom more. Children are naturally very curious, and when they feel safe and confident with themselves, they usually tend to express that. They also use a larger variety of toys. A well-equipped playroom has several toys for nurturing, caring, exploring, creating, and also to destroy. They concretely express their problems, such as they just pretty much are straightforward and they let you know what the issue is, and it's not too hard to guess. Aggression is expressed, but without massive destruction of the room and greater acceptance of responsibility. They're probably going to be destroying or expressing high intensity on one item rather than complete destruction of a room. And also when you point that out to them, they're usually have greater chance of accepting that, acknowledging that they were angry. Play of adjusted children typically use fewer toys. They play in a smaller area. They may not feel safe or comfortable to explore the room. They often want to be told what to do and how to do it. They seek a lot of permission. They're more likely to symbolically express their problem because a lot of times they internalize how they feel, but not always. They're also more likely to be aggressive towards space, toys, or the therapist themselves. They're more likely to express negative feelings more frequently and intensely with less focus and direction. So usually the negative feelings may be expressed from one item or towards the therapist. And at that point, we set limits. There's various theories of play therapy. There's Adlerian play therapy, child-centered play therapy, cognitive behavioral play therapy, Gestalt play therapy, Hungarian play therapy, psychoanalytic play therapy, and release play therapy. I was formerly trained in child-centered play therapy at the University of North Texas. I'm going to talk a little bit more about child-centered play therapy today, as that is the modality that I utilize most at the Wellness Center. Child-centered play therapy is a complete therapeutic system, not just the application of rapport-building techniques, and is based on the deep, abiding belief in the capacity and resiliency of children to be constructively self-directing. That's to say that child-centered play therapy allows the child to lead the adult or the therapist where they want to go. It's not directed, the child has the ability to go at the speed and pace and direction that they choose. And oftentimes it can feel, for the adults or parents, that they're just playing, which is not the case. As we talked about during play, children express and learn a lot about themselves and teach others a lot as well. Child-centered play therapy tenets for relating to children include children have an inherent tendency towards growth and maturity. Children are naturally curious, and children will move in the direction that they need to go. Once the environment is safe for them, they have the support that they need and the acceptance to be who they are and how they see themselves. Children will take the therapeutic experience where they need to be. It's not for the adult to tell the child what they need, but rather for the child to tell the adult what they need. Children are capable of positive self-direction. As I previously said, children are capable of doing a lot more than many people give them credit for. They're able to move in the direction that they need to go and at the pace they need to go at. It's the adult's responsibility and a play therapist's role to pay attention to that and to really be in tune with the child. Children are not miniature adults, being that you have to meet the child where they are. You can't expect the child to meet the adult where they are. Children are people. Children have the ability to make choices, to have decisions, to learn from their mistakes once the environment is safe enough. In child-centered play therapy, rules are not set until they're needed. That allows children to be able to play at the pace that they want to play at, to explore the place without knowing that there's a lot of rules or limitations to that, which sometimes can dampen the child's true expression. This is just in play therapy. As we know, as children, they need to have a lot of structure and safety and rules so that they know. Stability gives children comfort. Stability gives adults comfort. Children are unique and worthy. Every child is different as every adult is different, and their uniqueness should be celebrated, should be met with curiosity and also respect. Children are resilient. Children are resilient, but they're only as resilient as their environment allows them to be. That being said, adults' role and responsibility is to make sure that they can't protect them from everything, but they can provide them with the tools necessary to be able to overcome things. And sometimes that includes going to therapy. Children's natural language is play. That being said, play therapy is the best place to be if you want to help a child with their problems. Yes, children can also do well in talk therapy, but if a child's natural language is play, then play is the best place to start. Children have the right to remain silent. Not every play session is filled with children being rambunctious and energetic. Sometimes a play therapy session can be 45 minutes of the child not talking. But that doesn't mean that they're not communicating to the play therapist. They could be communicating with eye contact or lack thereof. They could be communicating with their body language towards or away the therapist. And they also have the right to know that this is your time, so you get to use it as you want. Children's growth cannot be sped up. It can be very difficult for some parents as they come in with goals that they want the children to work on. And the therapist is aware and also has those goals in mind, but also if you're practicing child-centered play therapy, these tenets are very important and also expressed to parents. Objectives for child-centered play therapy. The objectives are the overarching goals we have for almost every child we come in contact with. These are just the general objectives we have, and as every child is unique, there may be additional tenets or objectives that will be applied. Development of more positive self-concept. Knowing that they have the ability to be treated as an individual and to know that their choices are respected is very important. And for them to understand that I also have to be responsible for whatever choices I make. Greater sense of self-responsibility. In the playroom, children are given the opportunity to make choices, but also realize that shortly thereafter you make that choice, there's also going to be a consequence, positive or negative, that you're also going to have to deal with. Also helping them become more self-directing, which in itself is a very important skill. We want children to be self-reliant as they get older, to understand that they are very capable of directing themselves, and that's only helpful if the environment provides it. Becoming more self-accepting, which is a great skill and necessary skill for all of us to have, and it's even more important that children can learn that from a young age. Accepting themselves for their uniqueness, their differences, their challenges, and learning that they are very worthy of love and acceptance from others, but the most important part of acceptance is self-acceptance. Learning to become more self-reliant. In child-centered play therapy, even though the child does get to choose what they want to do, they also learn that they can do a lot of things. So that looks like returning responsibility. If little Johnny's asking me if I can help open something for him, if it looks like that is something that he's capable of doing, I return the responsibility with self-accepting words such as, "That looks like something that you can do, Johnny." Or rather, "What part of it are you having trouble with?" Engaging in self-determined decision-making, which it can be very tricky for children, but also very important. They need to learn to know that they have the confidence to make decisions. Play therapy is a place where they can practice that and know that the adult or their play therapist is there to help them throughout the way and also support them and step in if necessary. Experience a feeling of control. It's very important to know what that feels like. As children get older, they want to have more control. It's the adult's ability and responsibility to be able to gauge that control. Play therapy, child-centered play therapy, is a great way for a child to learn what it feels like to have control, hence the self-direction in play therapy. They need to know what it's like. They need to know, just like Play-Doh, how it moves in your hand, what you can model with it. Becoming sensitive to the process of coping. Coping can be messy, coping can be long, coping is a lifelong skill in order to be able to enjoy life, have an increased quality of life, and being able to be resilient. In child-centered play therapy, children learn how to be responsible to that and also sensitive to that. Reflection of feelings, such as acknowledging and teaching them different emotions and being present and accepting whatever emotions come up, is very important in child-centered play therapy. Developing an internal source of evaluation is also extremely important. We want children to learn from a young age that how they feel about themselves, how they value themselves, will be far greater, more important than how others view them. We want them to learn how to have a balance between internal and external source of validation. We want them to know that how they feel about themselves is very critical to how they behave. We want them to instill them that they are capable, that they are flexible, and that they can achieve a lot of things. And a great way to start with that is to make sure they have a really solid internal source of evaluation. And also to become more trusting of themselves. Children are amazing human beings, but it's also very important for them to learn that they can trust themselves. And it goes back to the different types of developmental domains of play. Learning that they can trust their bodies, learning that they can trust their emotions, learning that they can trust their gut, and also learning how to trust other people. What do children learn in child-centered play therapy? Children learn how to respect themselves. They also learn how to respect others. Children learn that their feelings are acceptable. All feelings are always acceptable. However, not all behaviors are acceptable. Children learn to express their feelings responsibly. Going back to not all behaviors are accepted, but all feelings are always accepted. Helping children learn that there's consequences to choices and actions, and sometimes it doesn't always work out in their benefit. But doing so in a very loving and accepting and empathic environment is a great place and time to learn that. Children learn to assume responsibility for themselves. Children learn that not every choice you make might be in your best interest, but also that you can make a choice, but you cannot always choose the consequence. Children learn to be creative and resourceful in confronting problems. That goes back to returning responsibility to the child, giving them the self-confidence and the trust that they know what they can do, but also you know when to step in. Children learn self-control and self-direction, which is a great lifelong skill to have. And in play therapy, they learn as in a safe place how to practice that. Children gradually learn at a feeling level to accept themselves. Self-acceptance is always a goal, no matter the modality of play therapy. Children learn to make choices and to be responsible for their choices, going back to understanding that, yes, you do have a lot of choices you can make, but also there's going to be a lot of consequences. And if they can understand the pattern in which you make choices, which is followed by a consequence, the greater off they'll be. Parents as partners in play therapy. Parents play a vital role in understanding and how effective play therapy can be. It's the play therapist's role to explain to parents the role of toys and also the role of the therapist. The therapist's role is never to fix the child, because there is nothing wrong with your child. There's nothing to fix with your child, but rather there's learning how you can support your child and how your child can learn how to better adapt to their environment, and sometimes their diagnoses, and learning better and healthier coping skills, and also how learning how certain coping skills can affect themselves and others, and also explaining what self-direction means to parents. And parents do have come in with goals for play therapy, and I often ask the parents what are their goals, but then I follow up and I ask the children what are their goals. And many times there's separation between goals, and my job is to figure out what the middle ground is. Emotional and behavioral expectations are also another hard thing to talk about with parents. Going back to, the play therapist's role is not to fix your child. The play therapist's role is to support your child and allow them to learn different coping skills in a way that is healthy. And also to have parent consultations. I often practice when I have parent consultations that I let the children know what I talked about in an appropriate way, so that the children understand that they are very much involved in this process, and also to maintain trust between therapist and child. I also communicate that to parents, that I give a summary of what we talked about to their child, so that the child understands that they are much a part of this process. Thank you very much for